We're a really inclusive school. We welcome people from all sorts of backgrounds. Some of our students come never having learnt Latin in their lives before and started from scratch at university. Others come having learnt Latin for years at school.
Latin is a language as dead can be. First it killed the Romans and now it's killing me.
I chose Latin and Greek as my degree because they've always been my favourite subjects from school, and I like analysing the literature and the linguistic aspects behind the ancient languages the most.
I'm studying classics, which is Latin and Greek, and the main reason I decided to do it at uni is because I did Latin at school and I really enjoyed it, and it just made sense for me to continue on with that.
For many, university is the first chance they have to study an ancient language. At St Andrews we teach the Latin language at all levels, from complete beginners to the most advanced Latinists. Students, whatever proficiency they arrive with, gain more and more confidence in the language as they pass from year to year.
With Latin, you don't really follow the conventional route of the Aeneid or well-known Latin texts like Cicero. So for example, in the first year Latin module, you do things like Augustus's Res Gestae and some more conventional things. But then you go into these really unknown and obscure texts and it throws you in at the deep end, really. And I found that really interesting.
One poem that we've looked at this year is a poem by Optation, a kind of ingenious patterned poem where you don't just read left to right on each line, but you can also read the poem down the left-hand column and down the right-hand column, and this particular poem can be read down through the middle column of lines of poetry. An extraordinary kind of word puzzle, but in coherent and actually quite elegant Latin.
But we also cover poems like the Maritum, an anonymous poem about a humble shepherd making pesto, from where, interestingly, the United States motto, E pluribus unum, one from many, comes.
In Latin we have this blog where we type in about the poems we're studying, and because it's not limited by a 30-minute discussion in class, you're going to hear everyone's voices and often in quite a bit of detail, and it's just really interesting to learn from the other members of the class.
One of the strengths of our program here in Latin is our rich and varied offering of Latin literary texts, which give students access to all the classics like Virgil, Catullus, but it also exposes them to some fascinating things that they won't have seen before.
Because before doing semester 2, I didn't know about Frontinus' Strategemata or about Valerius Maximus's memorable deeds and sayings. I didn't know about the supposed Senecan Octavia or the Apocalypse Mitosis or any of these amazing texts that I wouldn't have been necessarily exposed to in a different university.
We're really well placed to cater for the whole spectrum, partly because for a number of years we've run a research project on the different strengths and weaknesses of different school level qualifications in Latin.
And I think that's a really important thing that the Classics and the Latin department do in St Andrews. They show you a different way of looking at your subject that is far from the convention, and I think it allows you to really develop your own interests aside from, the conventional stuff we do at A-level and at school.
As well as interactive lectures on these brilliant texts, we also have a number of classes to support students through reading the original Latin. We've got a dedicated set text support hour where students can consult with the lecturer if they need to troubleshoot some problems in translation.
We had grammar classes, we had set text classes, we had classes specifically built to help us translate unseen texts.
In a recent honours module in the school, the whole class collaborated and translated and then finally fully staged a production of Plautus's wonderful play The Menechmi.
We took over the Bayer Theatre in St Andrews and students ran 3 performances, including for school children and members of the public, really learning a lot about Roman comedy by actually adapting it for the modern world.
We didn't just study Plautus's Menechmi, but we also wrote a new version of the script, we directed it, we starred in it, we did the costumes, we did the sets, and we were able to perform it in the professional theatre in St Andrews, which was a once-in-a-lifetime experience and really helped us engage with the text in a new way.
The main things that spring to mind for me are the language consolidation classes with Juan that you'll have once a week in both Latin and Greek. Now, in these classes we are spoken to in the dead language that we're studying the grammar of.
Ut videre potestis nunc loquor Latine, propterea quod mihi Latinitas viva multum placet, non solum adscribendum, sed quoque ad loquendum. Tunc si nobiscum vultis lingua Latinam discere, expectatissimi venietis. Gratias vobis agor.
So whether you've done an SQA higher or advanced higher in Latin, or an A-level in Latin, the IB, or some other kind of school level qualification, or no qualification at all, we've got all sorts of different ways of supporting your various needs.
So at St Andrews, you could come and learn how to make pesto the Roman peasant way. So bring your mortar and pestle and let's get cooking.
Latin is not dead, it is immortal.